Hi guys and dolls, how are you? I hope you are well. So today we're going to talk about, should love be unconditional? The answer might surprise you. Okay. It should not be unconditional ever. Every contract has a clause. Every contract has fine print. A relationship is an agreement between two people. We're going to be together. We're going to be monogamous if that's what we agree to. We're going to have each other's back through thick and thin. And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to respect each other and care about each other and all of that. However, when someone decides that they are not going to do that, they're going to lie to you, pretend they're a good person, and wear the normal person costume until they don't want to, they're not able to fake it anymore. Which is going to happen with a disordered person. They are going to reveal their true colors. That's one of the best things about them. They're going to reveal their true colors, and they're going to quit lying. And they're going to, well, no, they're not going to quit lying. They're going to quit lying about being a normal person. But they're going to wear the normal person costume initially because they're trying to woo you. They're trying to pull you into their net. Okay, but you will always see the real them eventually. It never fails. So love should not be unconditional, because if a person, okay, I'll just give you my personal example. When I was married to this person for 20 plus years, he's a malignant narcissist. Okay, he's a malignant narcissist. I didn't know it at the time. I just thought he was an asshole. Oh, baby, there's so much more to that than just that, okay? But anyway, we agreed, because we'd been married before, that the D word was not even going to be in our vocabulary. The D word meaning divorce, okay? There's one problem with that. When you agree to something like that, and that person is not a good person, you just gave them permission to treat you any kind of way, and you're going to stay with them because you agreed that you would never end it. I eventually realized that because of the way I was being treated, that it was inevitable that that was where we were headed. Okay. I am warm as usual. I should have that door open. That's what I should have. So eventually I had to go against what I agreed with. And I said, we need to end this because this isn't working. You don't respect me. I'm tired of the way you talk to me, and I'm tired of the way you treat me. And he had the nerve to get his feelings incredibly hurt. And he couldn't understand why I would renege on what I said. Every contract has a fine print. Every contract has a clause in there. Okay? So if you're with a disordered person, if you agree to stay with them forever, you just gave them the green light to do anything and everything to you: cheat, steal, lie, manipulate, everything. And you're going to stay with them because that's what you agreed to. So there has to be parameters. There has to be fine print. There has to be a clause in there somewhere that says, yes, we will stay together if and until. Okay. And the typical ways that a person, meaning abuse, for example, you're not going to stay with someone who's being abusive. I would hope you'd be smart enough to say, I don't want to be treated like this anymore. I'm done. I'm done. You don't respect me. I'm done. We're getting worse. We're not getting better, and you refuse to go to counseling. So I have no choice but to wrap this up. Okay. There are several ways that a person is abusive. Okay. And I'm maybe missing some, but these are like the main ones: emotional, financial, spiritual slash religious. You'd be surprised how many people that are so called into God, they beat you upside the head with the Bible. Oh, yeah, God is about love, and beating someone in the head with the Bible is not a loving gesture. Surprise! It's not. And dietary. You're going to go, what? Dietary? Yes, dietary. I dealt with that when I talked to somebody, I guess about a month and a half ago. This individual, I don't know what, pretty opinionated, very, when you don't want his opinion. He is a health fanatic. So he's going to condemn everything that goes in your mouth. Okay. Do you know how many calories are in that? Do you know how much sugar's in that? Yeah, that tastes good, but do you know how many carbs are in that? This person is going to micromanage everything that goes in your mouth. He is a chiropractor, and he thinks because he works in the medical field, he has a right to tell people what they can and cannot eat. And I got news flash for him. I know people who are health nuts and health fanatics, and they even have days where they cheat. You know, like Thursday might be a day where I can have pudding or popcorn or low butter popcorn or whatever. Sometimes people cheat, and they just allow themselves one day a week in order to do that. But they work so hard during the week, they're going to burn those calories off anyway. But it's just like a indulgence. Well, you can't do that around him because he's going to, oh, you're having pudding? Yeah, let me break down all the, all the bad things that are inside pudding. Um, Nobody wants to deal with food police, all right? We're all adults. We all take responsibility for what we put in our mouth. We all take responsibility for what we eat, don't eat, cheat or don't cheat on a diet. We're strict with our diet. We're strict every other day with our diet. It's a person's choice. It is not your business. And that was, I think, so far as I can remember, the first time I ever dealt with someone who was a food police. Shut up, man. Shut up. So anyway, uh, first time I ever dealt with that, and hopefully the last time, because if I want your opinion, I'll ask you. Um, and just shut up. I'll do my own research. Can I have this? Should I have this? Oh, well, maybe I could have that once a month, or, it's my choice, or it's this person's choice, or it's Susie, Dave, Mariana. It's everybody's choice. Shut up about it. So, in a case of any of these types of abuse, okay, and let me go over them one more time if I can find it. um, Emotional, financial, spiritual, religious, or dietary. There may be other types of abuse also, psychological, which goes into emotional too. Um, those are the parameters. Once those are violated and the trust is violated, that's when the contract should be null and void, especially depending on the severity of the incident and depending on whether the person wants to go to therapy or not, because some people are like, I'm not going to therapy. This is how I am, and I'm not changing for no damn body. Now, mind you, when they were trying to win you over and trying to swoon you and pull you into their web, they never showed their behind. But now that they've got you, I'm going to act a straight up fool. And since we're married, or even in a relationship, people are reluctant to leave their partner. And it's easier to leave a relationship than it is a marriage, because a marriage, to divorce a person, if you get an attorney, that's expensive. That could be costly. So people will have an undying loyalty to somebody because of a trauma bond, and they will tolerate choking, beating, punching, biting, kicking, financial abuse, emotional abuse. I read an article not long ago where um, they were married. They were supposed to be so deeply in love, and he didn't show his ass until she got pregnant. They were in their 20s, and she was very ill. And his emotional abuse made her illness worse because it does affect your physical body, and it subjects you to all types of horrendous illnesses. If you're not smart enough to get a clue and leave, you don't get a clue, you're going to subject yourself to some serious illnesses. You got to be smart, and you have to protect yourself. Your numero uno, number one thing that you have to do is protect you. That's what you have to do. Okay? Don't get caught up in I'm in love, I'm in love. This person has violated your love. They have violated you. So you have to turn this on and turn your heart off, and turn this on, turn your heart off, because your heart will have you thinking all kinds of irrational thoughts, and it will get you deeper and deeper and deeper in trouble, and you really don't want that. Right? So you have to use this. But anyway, she was having a difficult pregnancy, and she was nauseous, and she just, in her first trimester, and she's going through all these changes, and he kept beating her up with it and saying, well, I'm not going to help you with this. You're having a baby, and if you can't handle this while you're pregnant, then what kind of mom are you going to be? You're probably going to be a crappy mom because you can't even handle being pregnant. And now comes the emotional abuse. 1000% unnecessary. And he's basically saying, through his behavior, I want a divorce because I don't know how to act, and I want to be a single dad, and I want to pay child support. Yay. That's what his behavior is saying. And you're going to get all that in a bunch of more things because you don't know how to act. If she's smart, she'll leave him. In fact, I'd file for divorce while I was pregnant. I'll fix your ass. You want to play? Let's play. And you're not going to know when your kid's born. Maybe I'll tell you, maybe I won't. It just depends. If you want to be a horse's ass, baby, you're not the only one good at it. I can be a horse's ass too. So if you want to be a fucking asshole, 100% government approved asshole, baby, let's bring it the fuck on. All right? So anyway, you have to look at the fine print. You have to look at the different types of abuse. You have to look at, do I want my health, my life, my children's lives, if I have children already? Do I want them to be impacted by the poisonous decisions that I'm making? Because when you have children, it's not just affecting you, it's also affecting them. And I see way too often where women are so desperate for a man that they will subject their children to anything. Let this man abuse them. Let this man abuse the children. Physically abuse them, psychologically abuse them, physically abuse them. All because she needs somebody to pay attention to her. And if your head is in that space, you need professional help because that's irrational. One thing that a woman is supposed to do above all is to protect her child. I don't care about his ding-a-ling. I don't care if it goes all the way to the fucking floor and he has to stick it in an ankle holster. You better turn your motherfucking brains on, and you better protect your children. How dare you choose a man over your child? How dare you? That tells me that you can't think straight. And if you can't think straight, you need social services to take your children from you because you're choosing some knucklehead over your children's health and well-being. You need your children taken from you because you can't think straight. Anyway, that's another chapter of another book, honey. But anyway, there's always fine print. The person's going to guilt you. We got married. We said we'd be together forever. We made vows and you want to end it. You obviously never loved me. You just trying to manipulate me. You're using me for my money, using me for status. You just want me for whatever it is. You just want to use me to help you create children. And then you're going to dump me afterwards. They're going to lay the guilt on super thick because They feel that the gig is up, and they don't like that. They cannot take advantage of you anymore if you end it. Well, they can take advantage of you worse if you have children, because those children will be used as a pawn. They have no problem telling the judge or the mother against the father, for example, she's a monster, for example. Your Honor, he was always a drug head, and he's gotten worse. He's done drugs in front of our children. Or sometimes women will say things like, tell the judge that the father sexually assaulted those children, even if they did not. She will coach the kids on what to say. I know of a lady on YouTube who, she said that this whole custody thing's been dragged out and dragged out and dragged out in court because he keeps lying his ass off and saying she's been doing drugs. She's been doing drugs for a long time. She's unfit and da 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 da. Good thing about that is, unless you have actual proof, is hearsay. Hearsay doesn't hold up in court. So go ahead and run your mouth. It doesn't really matter. You have no proof. So, should love be unconditional? No, never. And the things that you were taught growing up, some of those things that you were taught are so stupid. Let it go in one ear, out the other. In one ear, out the other. Because they're stupid. Prime example. Marry a doctor, marry an accountant, marry a lawyer. Let me tell you something. Don't marry somebody for their career. Let me repeat that. Don't marry somebody for their career. Because some of the most intelligent people can be sociopaths. They're not dumb. They're not dumb. Extremely smart, can pass any exam that you throw at them. Super charming. Everyone thinks they're amazing. So don't go by their career. That's dumb. Go by how they treat you. And I don't mean how they treat you for the first month, second month, third month. How do they treat you in the long haul? The first 3 months, the first 6 months, the first year, the second year. Have they been emotionally consistent? Have you seen cracks in their behavior? Have you seen spurts of warning, red flags, like abusive, snarky, nasty, degrading comments? Holding back physical intimacy from you. Narcissists are notorious for that. Yeah. Little do they know, we can buy one. We don't need your dick. We can buy one on Amazon. So we don't really need it. There's nothing dangling between your legs that we have to have. All right. Just letting you know, you don't have power like you think you do. So shit, I cut my emotions off in a heartbeat, and I could care less about all that. Okay. And there's going to be TMI, but my ex was endowed, and I didn't give a shit. We were married for 20 something years. I don't give a damn about that because he was selfish with it. He was lazy in bed. He wasn't connected to me. It was like being involved with a machine. You're having sex with a machine. I don't care how good you think you are. We're going to go there for a minute. I don't care how good you think you are in bed. If you stimulate something enough, something's going to happen. All right. The person's going to get turned on. The person's going to have an orgasm. The person's going to whatever. That does not mean that they are unaware that you are disconnected from them. What? That doesn't mean that they don't know that you're disconnected. You think that an orgasm erases her brains and liquefies them and it just pours, her brains pour out of her ears. If a person is smart, a man too, if a person's smart, when they look back at that little so-called intimate session, they can tell that you were not connected to them at all. Yes, you pumped and pumped and pumped and touched and stroked and this and this and that. You did all the motions, but you were no connected to them, to the man on the moon. You think a smart person can't figure that out? Come on. Okay, we can tell that you weren't connected. So once we figure that out, we lose interest in being intimate. So you don't have to hold on to your little wang and not give it to nobody, or your big wang, whatever the hell you think you got down there. Um, the person's going to find out and they're going to withdraw from you physically, mentally, emotionally, and all of the above. And there will be nothing you can do, nothing that you can do that's going to win them over, especially once they get a clue that they got involved with the wrong person and that you're not going to change. You are going to change, but you're going to get worse. And you have been getting worse. So that little, so we might as well add that, right? I didn't, yeah, we'll add that to the list of abuse, sexual abuse, meaning I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna, I'll touch you if and when I want to. Come on. For those of us who can turn our sex drive off like a light switch, that has zero effect. Okay, zero effect. Am I losing my nose thing? Probably. I have a tiny nose, like a little kid. So even though these were custom made for me with my tiny nose, they still don't like to stay in place. Now I do have some that do stay in place. They're not the most comfortable thing to wear, but once I have them on, they stay on. So, yeah. Anyway, so what else? Yes, all relationships, engagement, marriage, all of them should have parameters and should have a clause, and they should not ever be unconditional. What other stupidness were we taught growing up? Because I was thinking about this the other day. Only rich people marry other rich people. Let that go one ear and out the other, and one ear out the other. That's not true. I know that may be true in a lot of cases, but that is not true in all cases. I know of a man who is extremely rich. He owns many car dealerships in Florida. His wife never had a job, and she didn't come from a lot of money. So she had zero job skills, and they got married. So I'm not really trying to hear all that. If you look back on what you were taught as a kid, you will realize that a lot of the bullshit that you were taught is so not true because, you saw evidence to the contrary growing up and as an adult, even on a daily basis or whatever, or in retrospect, you notice that what you were told is not, that's not true. That's not true. There's always exceptions to the rule for the most part. But one thing that should not be, one thing that should be an exception is you don't stay in a relationship where you're being disrespected, where you're being hated, where you're being physically abused, or any other type of abuse. You are being neglected physically, sexually, emotionally. You're made fun of in front of other people for that person's entertainment. That's emotional abuse. And stop ignoring the red flags. And I know a lot of people don't want to go to therapy because it's expensive. There is no excuse not to go to therapy because there are people who are trained in, relationship counseling and pre-marriage counseling, like pastors, and there's different clinics that are free, and every major city has a health department. They can refer you to someone. It might be free, or it might be on a sliding scale, the cost, depending on how much you make. So if you want to get emotionally better, you want to get mentally better, there's free groups, there's groups online, there's all types of support groups. You can get better for free or at a low cost. Because if you're not going to get better, And I'm not talking about narcissists. They're useless and they're never going to change. So you dump them and you move on. But you saying you can't afford counseling, you're going to continue to make the same mistakes in every relationship until you get a clue. You're going to keep making excuses for them. You're going to keep ignoring red flags. You're going to keep letting people treat you like crap because you're used to it. You grew up with that, so that's normal to you. That is one of the worst things, besides having a terrible childhood. One of the worst things about it is your brain is desensitized to shocking things. So when something shocking happens, you act like that's fucking normal. You don't call the cops. You don't get that person arrested. You just act like, well, that was a bad thing, and you just move on. You have to learn to recognize what is normal and what is not. That's why I told you, if you're not sure, this is a whatever you call notepad, what a notebook, whatever the shit you call these things. You write everything down. You got a column right down in the middle. Well, you don't even have to have a column. Just write down the things that are weird that are happening in your relationship, or things that are horrible, or things that you're not sure how to respond to that. Write it down. If you have to show it to your best friend because your brain is desensitized to trauma, rape is no big deal to you. You've been through that before. Someone hauling off and knocking the crap out of you is no big deal to you. You've been through that before. Somebody choking the shit out of you, that you've been through that before. So you're not really shocked when someone fucking does it. That's dangerous thinking. And that will get you killed. That will get you killed. And I want you to imagine your family and your friends and your children standing there looking at your dead body in the casket because you kept thinking everything this person was doing was okay. Because you grew up with it. So it's okay. No big deal. But now you're dead. And look at what your family has to go through. Look, if you had an ability to leave your body and look at the agony that you've put them through. Think about that. You want your kids bawling their eyes out? You want them having hyperventilating and having panic attacks because you've passed away? You died because you kept thinking that everything this person did was okay? That's a chance that you're taking. You're playing Russian roulette with your life. You want to continue to do that? Somebody puts their hands on you, you get rid of them. You call the cops, you get them arrested. Somebody puts their hands on you, you call the cops and you get them arrested. You get a restraining order. You do not act like, well, yeah, he knocked me down a flight of stairs. It's okay. I love him. Or she threw a knife at me. Yes, I know a couple that happened to. I knew them personally. I never could connect to her. Never. I tried. When you have to try to connect to somebody, that's a bad sign. She hauled off and chucked a knife at his leg, and she's supposedly so religious. Uh-huh. Where in your Bible and where in your church sermons is it okay for you to be vicious towards your partner, your husband? Where is that okay? It isn't. So, yeah, she chucked a knife at him. And he eventually got a divorce from her. And she, Miss Holified, Miss Religion, Miss You Don't Ever Cut Your Hair. I don't know what that religion is. I don't know if it's, is it Protestant? I don't freaking know. But you never cut your hair. Her hair was down her butt. She was cheating on him the whole time she was with him because she was married, oh, I don't know, a few weeks after they got divorced. Yeah, she was seeing that person the whole time. Miss Holy, Miss Pure. She chucks a knife at you, you file a police report. And you get rid of her ass and you talk to a lawyer. If it's a weekend, first thing on Monday morning, you go to a lawyer's office and you file for divorce. You have got to put your foot down and you have to stop normalizing horrible behavior because you're used to it. That's why you have to go to therapy. That's the reason you have to learn that what is horrible, what is classified as abuse. All of these categories are abusive. You know, if somebody puts their hands on you, that's abusive. If somebody's vicious towards you for no reason, that's abusive. Ask yourself, do you want to stay in this relationship? Do you want to continue to be subjected to this? Because at the rate you're going, you're going to have so much depression and so much anxiety, possible suicidal thoughts, possible immersing yourself in drugs or alcohol, subjecting yourself to, I don't know, diabetes, liver failure, kidney failure, cancer, high blood pressure, all because you allowed yourself to continue to be subjected to this because you didn't love yourself anymore. You didn't put yourself on a pedestal. You didn't say the first time someone treated you like crap, oh hell no, oh hell no, no, oh no, this shit's over, I'm done. I'm freaking done with you. I've had it. You're horrible. You're nothing like what I thought you were. I'm done. You put your foot down. Don't make it normal because it was normal when you grew up. What? Don't make it normal because it was normal for you growing up. You know the difference between right and wrong. So if you're at the post office, and I'm going to go there because women are very forgiving. Men can be very forgiving too. Oh, these nose things get on my nerves. Oh, they're so pretty, but they get on my nerves. Anyway, somebody hauls off and hits you in the post office in the line for no reason. Without thinking, you're going to haul off and hit them back. But you'll let your partner do it over and over and over and over again. Why? Because they're sleeping with you and make you feel good in the bed? It's okay for you to let them treat you like that? You better get some comprehensive therapy and you better get it like yesterday. Because if you're not protecting yourself, something's wrong with you. You're normalizing abuse. You're allowing them to buy you chocolates and roses, or, the woman manipulates the man. I love you so much. I don't know what happened to me. I don't know why I did that. It's because my dad assaulted me growing up. No, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. Now, am I mean? Yes. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm mean. If somebody's mean to me or sneaky, deceptive, a liar, a cheater, a manipulator, oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah, baby. They're going to see a side of me that they didn't know I had. Because when you saw me, you thought you saw sucker coming at you. And you found out quick that I'm not a sucker. And I don't have nice-itis where I'm too nice because no matter what you do to me, it's perfectly okay because I love you. Try me, okay? Try me. I have a t-shirt that says, what does it say? Underestimate me. That'll be fun. Exactly. Life is too short to deal with somebody else's bullshit. Okay? I don't care how fine they are. I don't care how beautiful they are. I don't give two shits. I don't care if they rock you in the bed to the point where you can speak 5 languages simultaneously. You better turn your brain on and start using some goddamn common sense. And stop subjecting your children to your bad choices. That's not fair to them. They have no choice. They have to go along for the ride because you are subjecting them to that. Because you are desperate for attention. That's not fair to your kids. But people do it every day. Why? I don't know, but they do. If you look at animals in the wild, and I've told you this before, you look at animals in the wild, the mother will protect her children and risk her life doing it. Humans will choose a partner over their children every day of the week. But they'll say they love their kids. That's not loving them. That's not loving them. Subjecting them to an evil, hateful person because you desperate for somebody. That's not loving them. Loving them involves protecting them, not subjecting them to the bad choices that you're making. And stop acting like the bad choices that you make have no effect on your children because that is a fantasy in your head. That's not reality. The choices that you make will affect those children for the rest of their lives, potentially. And they may learn to be dysfunctional and toxic to their own partners. So you're teaching them to be dysfunctional. You're teaching them to be toxic. Is that love? No, that's abuse too. There was a mother and, no, excuse me, a dad and his daughter that were hiking in the mountains. A bear attacked them, almost killed both of them. He remembers his head being in the bear's mouth, and he could feel the teeth crunching on his skull. They almost died. They survived it. Miraculously, they survived it. She had left. It was a female bear. She had left. She came back to kick. She already hurt both of them, all right? But she came back and attacked the guy again, the father again. I'm going to whip your ass again, just in case you didn't get a clue the first time. Then we found out later that she had cubs nearby. Were they anywhere near her cubs? No. But she going to kick your ass just to let you know you don't even need to think about hurting my kids. But humans are just like, it's okay. I'll subject my kids to whatever because mommy's got needs. Mommy needs to get laid. Mommy needs to be told she's pretty and she's beautiful by somebody, even if he's a predator. You're teaching your kids to be toxic. You're teaching your children to be toxic. And where is your natural desire to protect your children? Where is it? You don't have to go to college to learn how to protect your kid. That's normal. That's normal. Should be. Okay? Men do the same thing. I've seen on many criminal documentaries where the man married a woman who was the worst thing in the universe. She was vicious. She was a liar. She was manipulative. She got the kids in trouble all the time. She would do things and then turn around and blame the kids. And then the father would go berserk on the kids. You know why? Because he was whooped. And you know what I mean by that. He was whooped. She threw it on him so good, anything she says, he believes. Stupid. I wanted to choke the shit out of her. And then she eventually arranged his death, the husband's death. I can't tell you how many times somebody will side with their partner over their children any day of the week. You stupid. You stupid. Look at common sense. Does what this person say make any sense to you? Don't get so whooped in the head, in the bed and in the head that whatever they say is automatically the truth, because you are causing so much destruction in your own household. Use some common sense. And if you've never had this much bad luck until this person came into your life, there's your sign. Your kids ain't never been hellions until you got involved with this person. All of a sudden, they cut a hole in the brand new couch. Yes, that was the scenario. They cut a hole in the couch. They didn't do it. But she blamed it on them because she wanted to separate the father from his children and have him side with her. And it worked. And the things that she gave for believing everything that came out of her mouth, that she took his life. Don't be choosing your partner over your kids. Don't do that. Unless your kid is a hellion for real, then you might have to, because your kid might have a track record of being crazy. That's a different scenario. You know what I'm saying? So, and don't stay together for the kids because you're not helping them. You're hurting them. Let me repeat that. Don't stay with somebody because of your kids. Well, we got kids together, so what? So what? You're staying with them because when you stay with them, you're teaching your children, this is how mommy and daddy are supposed to talk to each other. Slamming doors, cussing each other out, go to hell, you go to hell too, I wish you were dead, I wish you were dead too. You want your kids to be subjected to that? That teaches them to have dysfunctional relationships. That teaches them toxicity. That teaches them dysfunction. You're not doing them any favors. You're potentially ruining their life. So don't stay together for the kids. It's ridiculous. especially once we go into enemy territory where you're treating each other like enemies instead of partners. And you want nobody's going to counseling, nobody gives a shit. We're just going to keep on doing this until somebody dies. No. Absolutely no. Okay? All right. You guys take care. Be good. Be cool like ice cubes. Don't drink and drive. Okay? Don't text and drive. Don't use your phone while you're driving unless it's hands-free. Come on. I don't want anything to happen to you. Okay? If it's preventable, then we need to make sure we prevent it. Make sense? All right. You guys take care.